Hey, I'm Andrea Love, and thanks for tuning in to my Real Rock Review Season 2. Breaking Benjamin is set to release their first new album since 2009 later this month. Dark Before Dawn hits the market June 23rd and features the current radio single Failure, which quickly found a spot on the top of several charts. Benjamin Burnley, the only original member of the band, posted on his Facebook page that he had been in and out of so many failed bands, and with each failure he became a better musician. He said that his failures were preparation for success, and he also added the hashtag, "It's okay to fail." Apparently that is correct. After a long hiatus, battling legal issues with former bandmates and trying to get severe health concerns figured out, they returned with Dark Before Dawn, one of the most anticipated albums of the year. The band also released 2 more songs from the new album, Angels Fall and Defeated, and will head back out on tour in July. After completing a stint in rehab, Scott Stapp, the frontman for Creed, will now head to therapy with his wife Jacqueline on national television. According to People.com, the couple agreed to spend 3 weeks in therapy on the VH1 reality show Couples Therapy with Dr. Jen Mann. Stapp was diagnosed with bipolar disorder after his breakdown last year, which included Jacqueline putting him on a psychiatric hold and filing for divorce. The show is set to premiere this fall. Bakersfield Sound is the hashtag Jonathan Davis of Korn used to help caption his recent Instagram post revealing a collaboration with country artists Big and Rich. The phrase Bakersfield Sound is commonly used to describe the style of music created by country legend Merle Haggard, according to theboot.com. Davis, or JDevil33 on Instagram, is also from the Bakersfield area. Neither Davis nor Big and Rich are strangers to collaborating outside of their main genre, and Davis isn't the only rocker creating with country music artists either. Lizzie Hale, the Foo Fighters, and Steven Tyler are just a few who've dipped their toes into the country waters recently. Very few details are available as to whether this collaboration is for an album, or just a song, or what it will be used for, but it sparks my inquisitive mind to wonder how you feel about these recent collaborations. Feel free to leave your opinion in the comment section below. And know that just for you, I resisted all bad jokes about corn being grown in the country. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel and like the Real Rock Review Facebook page for extras and a new feature called Local Music Monday. I'm taking submissions for the best local bands out there, and details of how to submit can be found on the page. I had a chance to chat with Jonny Hawkins, the frontman for the band Nothing More, backstage at the CompuWare Arena right before they opened for Five Finger Death Punch, Volbeat, and Hell Yeah. Check it out. I'm here with Jonny at the CompuWare Arena in Plymouth, Michigan with Jonny from Nothing More. What's up?
Nothing much.
Back in Michigan?
Yeah, it's good to be back. Last time we were here, we were at the machine shop, and that was one of the coolest shows ever. I think it was like a Tuesday night or something like that.
I think it was Monday.
Monday night, yeah. And it was just packed, and it was our first time to play there, so really excited to be back.
Awesome. Well, I've just got a few questions. Mostly, my main questions are about production of everything. I'm fascinated by that. Now, your album, where was that produced?
We actually moved into a house together, and we kind of made a little DIY factory where we had a garage that our bass player was building all the live stage show items that you see, the metal stuff. He was welding all that together while upstairs in my room we were recording the record. And so we had an amp room in his bedroom down the hall. We had a rehearsal room down in the dining room. So it was produced and recorded 90% of it, 80 to 90% at the house, the band house.
By you guys, right?
Yeah. But we did do some, our manager, Will Hoffman, he's one of our managers, and he co-produced the whole thing. He's kind of like an invisible member in the band. You know, he's not on stage with us, but he's such a big part of the writing and the recording and just the idea process that, you know, we got to give some credit to him for sure. When we set out to record, it was like it was like a quest for me as an individual as well as the band. We all had a different hand in the process. My job was mainly the recording and the programming and producing. apart. So I was behind a computer, my glasses on, all hours of the day and night. And so we spent a good 2 years, and we didn't have a lot of money, like a lot of bands out there. And so what we did have was time. And a lot of times you just use what you have. And because we had time, the, I guess, byproduct of being able to spend a lot of time on something, not having a label and not being in a studio that's charging you by the hour, is to really experiment and explore. And I think that's one of the things that we were really kind of felt was missing and kind of vapid in the rock world, which was everything felt like it was getting aimed at radio. Even though we're being played on the radio, which is great, it just felt like what radio in the rock world had become was like this, like labels telling bands they needed to sound like this and we needed a product quick, and so we were just kind of getting tired of that same old sound. And so the only way you can come up with something new is really to have time and experiment and not have the pressures of a label. So I'm actually thankful that we were unsigned, even though if you would have interviewed me 2 years ago, I would have been like hoping and praying that we got a record deal and had more money and this and that. But looking back, it actually paid off a lot better, and people are more appreciative that we went through those two and a half years of doing it ourselves.
Last question is, what would your advice be to anybody who's creative, got creative things that they can give to the world, maybe don't have the money, maybe not sure how to do it, like coming from a person who's literally worked their way all the way up through time and everything like that? What would your advice be to somebody in that situation?
There's a lot of things I could say, because it seems like there's the best advice is trying to respond to the actual environment that you're in. And again, like I was talking about earlier, like use what you have. So if you don't have money, if you don't have fancy equipment, that's the beauty of creativity, and that actually challenges you as a creative person. If you're the kind of person who says, which I was this kind of person, so I'm not pointing the finger, but if you say, our album can't sound like that or this because we don't have $1 million, while that may be true for the specific album that you're pointing to, but nobody wants you to sound like the record they already have. They want to hear something fresh. So being fresh is not just being you as an individual, it's also being you as an individual in the context and the environment you're in, whether that's rich or poor or with a broken acoustic guitar. Like, that's the cool thing. Like, a truly creative person, which this is a challenge if you are a creative person, to be more creative, like, use all the weaknesses you have, make them strengths. Make them what makes you different than the next guy. Because when people come up to me or the guys in the band, and I've heard this with other artists that are successful as well, which, again, I don't consider us successful yet, but ones that we look up to, it's like they all sing the same song. They all say that, like, their weaknesses were what made them stand out. Like, I ended up doing these really kind of wiggly things with my voice and then doing these kind of growlier things with my voice because that was a response in my environment with my body to things that I couldn't sing. Like, I couldn't sing like the girl or the guy on American Idol. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, the people on shows like American Idol, 95% of them are not going to have a career because it's a singing competition and nobody cares if you're a great singer. Like, of course, that's nice, but people care if you make something meaningful and creative and inspire them and give them goosebumps. And you don't need a lot of money to do that. Like, and you don't need to be the best singer to do that. And again, I've heard artists on street corners who have made me tear up or like giving me goosebumps. And that's the key. So if you hone in on that, like, the money and all the other things will come. Don't focus on that. That's a distraction. So there's a lot of other things too, but
no, I like it.
That's the perfect core, I think.
Awesome. Cool. Well, I'm going to let you go ahead and get out of here.
We would like to give a huge thanks to our season sponsor, Familiar Productions. Make sure to check out the feature-length film, Remotion, coming later this year, written and directed by Ryan Liskey. Death should always be a revelation. I'm Andrea Love, and thanks for watching my Real Rock Review, Season 2.